Alright, time to start working on the rear fenders. This is the passenger fender, and looks like this thing kissed a guardrail at one point in time. There's a few little dents and dings. Not that bad. Let me rephrase that. It's something that I can definitely live with. I might, and this is the worst spot right here. It actually kinked this right here. You can see it kinked, and it may have been side impact. I don't know, but clean this up. I might get a chance to do some more filler work. Call it practice. But that's what I got. Well, spent about 10 minutes beating on it with a hammer. It actually popped out a little bit better than I was expecting. There's some waves to it, and you'll probably see it more when I grind it. I'll probably video it again after I grind it, but didn't even attempt to get this little crease out. I'll just have to live with that. I think I'm afraid to do worse damage with that. But this right here turned out all right. Like I said, I took one or two smacks with that. I didn't even attempt to do anything with this. I figured I'll just use some skim coat on that. Same with this little, this isn't so much dent. I don't know what this is. This is where they tried to build it up and whatever. Either way, this right here turned out better than I was expecting. I'll find out for sure when I get it down to bare metal, and I might throw some skim on that as well. And here's my little bodywork and tools that I got. Craftsman ball peen, little 1x dead blow, and a little 1x1. Make do with what you got, man. Alright, halfway through the sanding, or getting the paint off anyways. This is where that crease was. Well, actually, there's the crease. I ain't messing with it, but that significant dent. You see where I bent it out, beat it out some. It's still, I may have beat it too far, I don't know. At least in that one spot right there, I don't know if it's gonna pick it up. But see a little bit more, all these dents and dimples with the paint off. See these spots that the sander didn't touch. Those are the ones that little low spots. And there was quite a bit of Bondo already on this thing, but I don't know what they were covering up. Probably covering up all these small little dimples that I really probably won't care about. But here's some more Bondo right there. Working on the fenders, getting some rust reformer in here. All I did was take a little sander to the inside, and I'll call the chunks out. Still had quite a bit of surface rust, as in just a layer of dusting. So use that quick and easy, especially on the inside of the fender. Just threw some of that rust reformer in there. I'll wait for it to dry, and then I'll throw some of that what do you call it? So I just got done, just sprayed a little bit of this Rust-Oleum rust reformer on there, and then as soon as it dries, that's when I'll go ahead and throw some of this on there. I got 3 cans of it. Shoot, I already did this other fender, and it only took 1 can. I mean, this is all etched primer right here, but it's too dark back here, you ain't gonna see, but 1 can did the whole inside of this fender with that truck undercoating, more or less that rubber spray. So like I said, I'll wait for this to dry up, shoot it with some of that undercoating. I don't know if I want to do the primer and then do this body filler, or if I should just do this body filler on this etching primer and then do the primer coat over it. Alright, I got my gas neck filler, well, filler neck, whatever you call it, the tube that you put the gas nozzle in. Anyways, alright, so this is what we're looking at. You can see the vent nipple off the tank is right up underneath here. I'm probably going to have to cut some of this support right here just to be able to make a good spot for the hose. We'll see. But that looks like it might be a good decent fit. The only thing is I want this neck pointed up a little bit higher. I don't want it swung that low. You gotta remember, I'm gonna have like a 1 inch grating in the back of this thing, which is gonna bring it about to the same level as this. So I need to swing it up some. That's gonna mean I'm gonna have to probably either A, try to bend this in and to miss this bracket, or B, I might just cut it right here and run the vent hose from here. It's a little easier to run vent hose than it is hard tubing. We'll see. I did get the hoses today, so hopefully, actually that's the top of my list. Another thing about this hose is I could not find a perfect hose for me. So this is a 2 1/4 inch. This is 1 3/4 inch, so that I could not find an adapter hose. This, however, is 2 inch, so I'm debating on just cutting it right here and going from 2 to 2 1/4. That'll allow me to push this over more if I need to. Gives me a little more flexibility on mounting. Alright, so I got everything filled in that I wanted to get filled, and I went ahead and sanded it down. You can still see some low spots that I'm missing. Might be some streaks in here. It's kind of accentuated primarily because I've already used some acetone as my grease and wax remover, but you can see the low spots there. A lot of those swirls right there is just the bleed over from me wiping it down. That self-etching primer got carried over, but basically I think it turned out better than my other filler jobs. Granted, I'm saying that before I throw paint on it, but this one right here I didn't do any filler work on it. I just noticed there's one spot right here I probably should have, but alright, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a coat of primer down. We'll see how it looks. Alright, where I left off last video was going to start painting these fenders. That whole evolution was a total cluster. The primer, I pulled it out and shook it up, mixed it up, pulled it out, pulled the lid off, and it would not mix. I mean, I still had, I'll throw a picture in here. I took a picture with my phone, but I had like a 1 inch of just goo on the bottom. So evidently that primer was past its prime. So I was ready to do something. So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the black. So went ahead and mixed up the black. For whatever reason, I just could not get this black to lay down worth of crap. It was just very inconsistent. I mean, I started playing with spray patterns over and over and over again, trying to get my spray pattern down to see if that made a difference, but just wasn't laying right. Now I still don't know what's going on with it, but between that and the top spray paint gun, the little hopper up on top, that thing pissed me off. It was dripping everywhere. Yeah, it kept dripping out of the top here, out of the lid. This is Harbor Freight paint gun, and to be honest, I haven't had any. It's the first paint gun I've ever had, so I don't know if it was good or bad, but I haven't had any problems with the gun itself. Now this hopper, I've had problems with it since day one. This plastic little screw-on lid that they give you, it would leak. I mean, you got to cinch it down tight, or else when you twist the gun around different angles, that level gets up to these threads, it'll drip out. That's where a drop gut on here, you get stuff like that. So I was fighting that the whole time. Then by the time I got halfway through with it, and just it wasn't laying right, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go ahead and ditch whatever's in this little hopper, or whatever they call it, this canister. I was just gonna dip it, dump it, start all over with a new mixture. I couldn't get the daggum lid off. I guess it'd been dripping through here so many times on this painting evolution, or maybe I cinched it down so many times. For whatever reason, I could not get this thing off. You can see this right here. This is solid, because I finally just said screw it. I just unscrewed the whole thing from the paint gun, dumped it up upside down in my little waste can there, and it's like, screw it. I got rid of the whole thing. What I ended up having to do, I was to the point where I was so frustrated. It's like, screw it, I'm just gonna go get a different paint gun, get a new hopper and everything. The hopper, well, so I just happened to see this. I was hoping they would sell spare hoppers, and they do, but it's this stainless hopper. So we'll see how this works for me. This is a yeah, one of those. I'm gonna call this a blessing in disguise as well, because I've got other parts I want to paint. That day I won't say in a rush, but I did have time pressures. I wanted to do some other stuff, so I was trying to just knock out these two fenders and be done with it. Well, there's other things I should be painting as well. Number one is I want to see if I can fix this right here. I'm not going to beat this dent out, but I am going to try sanding that smooth. Try to get this one halfway smooth as well. Try spot paint that. If you don't know what happened here, this happened when I was trying to mount the bed. I'm going to try painting this as well. This is aluminum grating. I'm going to give it a shot. Another thing I want to paint is my windshield trim. I don't have good light in here, but there's a trim ring that goes all the way around the windshield. So I'm going to try to pull it out, hang it up, and paint it as well. This is just I only got like one light coat on there before this gun started messing me up, and so I'm going to try to get put a light sand on this, and we'll mix up some more black and stage some more parts, see what we can do. Alright, got me some painting done. Got it done a while back. I just now getting around to getting back into the garage. Turned out a lot better than the last one. I don't know what I did different this time. I don't know if I just didn't have it mixed up well enough or what, but looking real good. So I got some of the bolt kit heads painted as well. I'll go ahead and mount that, see how she looks. This right here is what I'm using for the bed. Just it's aluminum grating. I just got done painting it the other day. Same time I was painting my rear fenders. Went ahead and did this. I got 3 pieces of it, so you'll see this little cutout. That's where my fuel filler neck's going to go. Anyways, so before I put that grating in there, I want to hide all this wire, whether I do it with a loom or whether I shove it in the frame. I'm liking shoving it in the frame better, and then I can save the loom for when it comes out of the frame and cuts across here to this side of the frame. Oh, and also I'm gonna, before I forget and put the bed on, I want to ground this tank. I need to ground this tank properly. There's a spot for a lug, so I'll go ahead and just ground it. I'll probably put a ground stud somewhere right next to this, I don't know where. That way all my lights, and actually the lights are the only thing. But if I do a ground stud back here from the frame to the body, that way if I do ground anything to the body, it'll be good. Pretty much this body's insulated from ground. I got wood blocks there, wood block up there. The only thing that connected was these bolts right here, and I don't know how good of a connection those would be. I did find some rubber pads, so I'm going to stick some rubber insulating pads up into there. There's a slight gap in there, so okay, so here's the finished product. This is actually a couple months later. I just realized I never really finished up filming everything I wanted to for that last bit. A couple things I left over. I still have a small gap on both of these little splash aprons here. This one's a lot tighter. It looks a lot better, but the other side there's a small gap. I'm not really going to be too worried about it. You notice I've only got one of my gratings in here. The other 2 are sitting back in the corner. I had some other issues that made me have to pull this grating out to get back to the rear end here. So you'll find out what happens to that later on. But like I said, one thing I never showed before was my finished gas nozzle. There it is right there. Just a simple, use a simple angle iron, little bracket and a couple bolts and bracket on the bottom. We talked before about just a short little 2 to 2 1/4 inch hose. Here's that vent hose right here. I did end up trimming just a bare lip. So there's that vent hose right there. I did end up, you can just barely see it in there, but I did trim the lip of this support beam right here, the support bracket. All I did was that little lip right there. I trimmed it. That was enough for me to run this vent hose. It's not, if I remember, I don't have it rubbing. It's rubbing on the grating. It's rubbing right here, but as far as down there, it's not hitting. So I'm happy with that. Like I said, actually turned out better than I thought it would. I did ground my tank as well. Put a little ground stud right there in that support beam. Grounded it off. But that's that. I never did loom the wires. You have all the grating in here and all of it painted black. It hides a lot more than you'd think. Especially unless you're actually looking for it, it's out of sight. I'm not worried about it. Maybe I'm just ready to move on to the next project, but anyways, either way, I'm done with this part, the bed. It's time to move on. It'll work until it don't.